I'm getting ready to do something with my person. So hold on. We had technical issues. And we're getting ready. All right. I think that is correct. Yeah. Okay. I just learned something. That was good. All right. I like that. That is very helpful to know. And I have Igor Kogan on today. And it's the music is great. I'm going to play the music while I do some cutting and pasting. Oh, very nice.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is my guest, Igor Kogan. And yeah, we are. I had one of those technical issues for a moment, but I actually learned something today. So it's good. It's good when you learn the technical stuff, right?
That's what they're for, those technical issues.
Yeah. My girlfriend and I are always kidding, well, you need a 17-year-old to to like be sitting around helping you. Um, so Igor, I don't know a lot about you. Obviously, you have an accent.
Yes.
um, did I read you're from Israel originally? Or-
I grew up in Israel, but I actually was born in Russia.
Oh, okay.
I might have a double accent. Yeah.
And so you spent most of your growing years in Israel?
Yes, since I moved when I was 15 years old.
Uh-huh.
So, yes, I grew up in Israel since then. And then later I moved to New York and after living to LA. So I've been here, I think 9 years in LA now.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Were you had you gotten into music when you were 15? Were you already playing?
I actually started my music back in Russia when I was 7 years old.
Oh,
I started with, classical music, and I played violin as my first instrument.
oh,
Yeah, and then after I moved to Israel, I actually started to get, more exposed to contemporary music, jazz, and that's when I started. I picked up electric bass first, playing at high school, and then after that, later, more jazz, more upright bass. So kind of switched later to upright. Yeah.
we were talking about Dave Sloniker before, and he really started arranging quite young. I
Hmm.
think around that time in his life he was starting to arrange. But so how does one go? Yeah, I think I'm gonna have a big band. How does one do that? Because it's not just like, oh yeah, I'm gonna play with a guitar player, or it's something
Yeah.
a little more.
Yeah. Actually, yeah. Speaking of like when I started arranging, actually, I haven't started this to my, later years.
Huh.
And in general, music, I don't know, it's not mentioned on my bio or something on the website, but actually in Israel, I had my first education in electrical engineering, which
Ah,
I worked in that, and then I switched to music later. And
yeah.
but for arranging, actually, yeah, I didn't. I always liked when I did music, when I played in orchestra and even classical music. I always liked this, big orchestra to be part of this big ensemble. And when I studied jazz back in Israel, so also I played, in big bands at the jazz school there at college. So I always loved this, but I didn't at that point I didn't know. Okay, I want to write for this. But when I moved to New York and I studied at New School in New York, so I started to take classes on arranging because I had this idea. Okay, I want to try something to do with big bigger group. And then I started to take classes and to be exposed to music, to big band music more, and learn about this and learn about arranging. So I really wanted to try this, and then I started to write some of my music and bringing it to class and try some arrangements.
Yeah. Um, you hear all different styles of big bands, and I remember again talking to Dave Sloniker about this, but yeah, it's like you just you write what you prefer, right? I mean, of course, there's some tools, not exactly rules to follow, but tools,
Yeah,
that you probably should use. But but uh, for the most part, there's ideas in your head that are unique, right? And that you flush out and you see how it works and then you continue on and pretty soon you kind of you're writing with your own sound, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, but it takes, I think, like a long time to develop actually your own sound, and everyone is influenced by, by their own things. Same as you mentioned, Dave Slonaker actually watched this Zoom tape with you, and he mentioned this, and I mean, everyone, all musicians, of course, we all know, we all influenced by something that we
Sure.
listen to or we exposed to. So yeah, because in big band also there are different styles.
Yeah.
Also, it can be the same ensemble in terms of instrumentation, but the arrangement can sound like 20s big band, or like Duke Ellington big band sounds different from Count Basie big band, or more contemporary stuff. You know,
who were your influences?
uh, for big band, I think yeah, obviously the early one like Count Basie and Duke Ellington when I was playing in the big band. But also more contemporary writers, like actually Dave Slonaker is one of them. When I moved here to LA, I discovered his music. It's really, unique and has his own sound. And Maria Schneider, one of the also more contemporary writers. I like um, Kenny Wheeler also. Kenny Wheeler, he's a trumpet player. He was a trumpet player he lived in UK, and he has a very unique style also of writing, both for small group and the big band. He has done so many great music.
I don't think I've ever heard big band from him.
Yeah, he has some probably few albums, I think. Yeah.
Oh, hmm. Wow. Interesting.
Yeah. Actually, we're gonna play the arrangement of one of his songs in my upcoming show.
Oh, cool. Yeah, Igor has a gig at Catalina's next week on Wednesday, right?
Yeah, it's next Wednesday.
Yeah. 17-piece big band. So it's worthwhile going to see that. And you just heard some of that music. So it's pretty exciting.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, how do you when you're working with a big band, um I mean I've noticed when I hear large groups that the players, let's see, I'm not sure of my question, so give me a minute. But the players, when they have when I guess when they're a very high level, maybe I guess it's a high level, or maybe it's a personality thing, but when they really have their own groove, their own comfort, like a horn player, their own comfort playing it with a groove, that it makes a big difference in the overall sound of the big band. So when you pick players, do you think of that kind of stuff, or are you basically looking for good players, responsible people, nice people, somebody's recommendation? Because it's a lot of people to pull together.
Yeah, yeah, that's a lot of people. But you're absolutely right. Yeah. And I think it's not only in the big band situation, it's in any situation when you put your group together.
Yeah,
It's important. I mean, besides knowing that they're great players, just professionally,
yeah,
which is like given. But the other very important aspect is also, of course, their personality and their own style, because different people have their different styles and different tendencies,
yeah,
how to on their performance. And that's actually very important. Yeah, very important point that you mentioned that yeah, I pick players, the musicians whom I know, of course, whom I worked before or I heard them play. If there is someone who is playing for the first time, then yeah, I check them out. I listen what they're doing, how they approach music, and of course, yeah, it's important. And I think the group that I got, for this gig, for example, for this upcoming gig. It's really amazing musicians. Most of them I worked there. I worked before. There's couple new people, but yeah, it's also important to have this right chemistry in the group, and I think
Yeah. I probably can go on your site or Facebook to see the PR for it, the gig.
yeah, it's on my website. It's also on
Okay, I'm gonna
Facebook.
go there. And I don't know if I don't know if you've listed the players or not.
They're not list. I mean, if you go on my Facebook, then they tagged there in the uh, in the post.
They are in the post?
Yeah, they tagged in,
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
yeah.
post. Yeah,
Well, let's see if we can find that.
and I know. I'm sure you know many of them.
Yep. And
Us, me, and you, and here.
uh,
No, in the title they tagged like
oh, I see.
yeah,
Let's see. Oh,
yeah,
so all of these guys, right?
yeah, yeah,
Will Brahm is a friend of mine,
yeah.
and Alex Budman and Ahmet. All right. And some of them, you haven't listed all of them because they probably don't have Facebook.
Yeah. There is a couple of people don't use Facebook, so
Yeah.
they're not there. But
Is
yeah,
Josh the trumpet player?
yeah, Josh Aguar.
Oh, yeah. He's a wonderful player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're all amazing musicians. Really.
Yeah. Well, cool. How is it getting work for a big band? Can you get, a good number of work of gigs?
It's it's hard because it's a lot of actually organizational stuff. Even first of all, of course, to get the gig and to pay everyone because it's many people. And second of all, just the organizational stuff to put 17 great musicians at the same place at the same time when everyone is busy with their own projects. It's pretty hard. So
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. It can be very hard. Uh, it's not an easy
But it's worth it. It's really
easy
worth
life.
it.
Yeah. So how much of the big band music are your compositions?
It's most of it is my composition. It's either my original composition or arrangement. I have a couple arrangements,
Yeah.
you know, jazz tunes, and yeah, and we also for this specific gig we also will have a couple arrangements from my friend. She's a trombone player and singer. She will be playing Tina Wilcox. She's amazing, just artist by herself. She moved here recently from New York, and so we got connected here, and so we'll have her featured on this too. So
Cool. Nice. Um, should we listen? You said a small group too. I'm thinking it's just listening, it's audio.
yeah, we can.
Is that right? Your small group?
Yeah, small group. Yeah, I have the album we recorded, like we released a couple years ago.
Uh-huh.
This is with the small group with Quintet, Jazz Quintet, and actually Josh playing there on trumpet.
Okay.
Yeah, we can just listen maybe on all the tracks.
And whoops. Was that it? Revival or no?
No, this is another project for the big group.
Oh, I clicked on the wrong thing. So, which should I click on in a big city? Oh, keeps going to revival. So, one of these.
I think if you go below this, you see the albums. It says in a big city. Yeah, this one.
Nice. What a nice tune.
Thank you.
Yeah, great playing. Nice tune. No, who is in this band? Josh?
Oh yeah, Josh on trumpet, on saxophone, it's Jeremy Lapid, Marco Apicello on piano, and Matt Baker on drums.
Nice. Sounded great. I mean my preference is something that you did in the arrangement, which is have these periods of time where it's kind of vamping, you
Mhm.
know. I I like that. I because the band gets to relax and create like a palette, which is really nice. That's what I like.
Yeah.
I always like long intros too. I can't stand singers with like these 4-bar intros. Okay, it's all about me now. It's like, and let's settle in. Let's everybody kind of get on the same page.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, very very nice, nice tune.
Thank you.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing more of it. Um, yeah. So, what are your current days filled with? What are you doing with yourself these days?
Um, yeah, so this like recent, past month, it's been pretty busy with, preparing to this gig, also, writing some music and organizing all the, rehearsal and, all the things related to this
Preparing
gig.
for the gig, yeah.
Yeah. But besides that, I had, a few ongoing projects as well. Like for example, yesterday we had a great recording session, which actually that's the reason we moved this session
Right,
so
right.
today. Yeah, it was with a great arranger, uh, and so like chamber orchestra, um, and before that I actually worked on. I also do some film scoring, and writing for some other commercial projects,
Cool.
and so that's been I've been working on this project, writing music for the short film.
Ah,
I
okay.
finished last week that. So
That's
it's
that's a kind of a full-on job, isn't it?
yes. And then all the small gigs, just casual gigs that we all do all the
Yeah.
time.
Do you practice bass anymore? Do you practice or do you just basically play?
No, I practice, of course. Yeah,
What
practice.
kind of things do you find yourself practicing nowadays?
Um, for bass, it actually also depends because I do some classical bass. I play in some with some orchestras or classical,
Uh-huh.
recording sessions. So if it is for this type of gig, I practice but it's for anything for jazz too, just basic stuff like scales and technique.
Mm-hmm.
And then if it's for jazz, so obviously learning the tunes and learning the music and practicing, practicing this specific music for
Yeah.
for the gig.
I have a friend here, Taylor Hatch, who's a guitarist.
Mhm.
He always asks the question, what standard do you find yourself going back to for kind of because of you admire it or more depth or it's just a good vehicle?
For standard. I don't I don't have like any particular standards, but sometimes when I practice, I just, for example, if I know I want to practice in specific scale for, I mean, around this in specific key, so I'll choose maybe standard in that key.
Mm, right.
Uh, or because many standards they like in terms of chord progressions or form, they a lot of them similar
Mm-hmm.
to each other. But so you can basically practice you know on any of them. It's like chord progressions or soloing over the chord progressions. So yeah, I probably don't have like one particular.
Favorite.
Yeah.
Yeah. Taylor's asking, uh, what was the biggest piece of advice someone gave you when it came to finding your musical voice?
um I think um I don't know if it's like I can't point on some specific person, but I hear this from many mentors or great musicians that I listen to. It's just continuing doing what you do,
Yeah, yeah,
and and I think it takes time to actually to find your own voice. And I am in progress, still work in progress. I think in finding
yeah,
my own voice,
yeah,
and it also can change. I think with the time because when you like specific, some period of time you focused on one thing and you like dig deep into that thing, and then it
yeah.
influences your playing or your writing, and
Uh-huh.
then you discover some other artist, or after 5 years or something, you move slightly to different direction and discover new music, and that obviously influence more has more influence now on you than before.
Yeah. Was there one teacher that you found that you that really changed your perspective?
um I I wouldn't say teacher, but I mean music, definitely. Different types of music. For example, I mentioned before Kenny Wheeler.
Yeah.
So when I discovered first his music, this was like revelation for me for totally different music. What I never heard this type of music before.
Yeah.
It's kind of ECM records, for example,
Right.
with Dave Holland, Jack DeJohnette.
Mm-hmm.
This more kind of open in terms of harmony and form, and so I really love that. So for example, before that I knew, okay, there's jazz standards, and when I started to learn jazz, so okay, jazz standards, blues, rhythm changes, and they can, okay, this is the jazz, but it's way more than that.
Yeah, ECM really blew my mind too, because I grew up listening to very standard type of jazz, Stan Kenton. My dad was a sax player,
Mhm.
and I had there were vocal groups, and I listened to Ella, and everything was pretty straight ahead. Then when
Yeah.
I got to college, it was such a strong musical time, and I was in Boston, and there was Motown, and there was Miles Davis, and everything was kind of in change. And ECM, I was just what was that? I had never heard that stuff. It was so beautiful, and Weather Report
Yeah.
and those groups they really opened up my mind a lot. It was really It was a great time, to
Yeah.
really listen to music. Yeah. Yeah. Just great. Um, let's see. Let's see. Taylor is asking, how would you best describe musical maturity? And in what way do you feel like you've worked on artistic integrity for yourself? Taylor
Wow.
asks some deep questions.
Good question.
Let, let,
Yeah.
let's separate those questions because they're both pretty kind of heavy. How would you best describe musical maturity?
Well, I think it comes maybe with general maturity, the music
Uh-huh.
maturity. When
Okay.
um, uh, when applying this to music, it's just, more maybe less trying to less to satisfy your ego, or less, trying less to show off whatever. Okay, I practice this, I know this,
Yeah.
but more to actually play music for the purpose of music, not for the purpose of showing myself.
Yeah.
And when playing with the group, like when practically it comes to more listening to other people and trying to you know to help others, to elevate others when you play together, to to help each other, and then it all sounds better than everyone rather than everyone shows, okay, I can do this and I can do this.
Yeah. That's so true. Okay, second part of the
Yeah.
question. In what way do you feel like you've worked on artistic integrity for yourself?
For artistic integrity, I think it's related to what we talked about before, to finding your own voice, to actually defining what you actually want to do in music as well, because there's a lot of things you can do. You can play jazz, also in jazz you can do standards, or you can be performer, you can be writer, or you can be producer, or you can do different types of music, you can do film scoring, you can do arranging. There's a lot of things you can do, and I think like for me personally, it's actually took me a while and to find out what I actually want to do, because
Yeah.
I started to be bass player, back in Israel, let's say 10 years ago. So, I went to school. I wanted back then. I remember I wanted to be a great bass player. I watched all my idols. Ray Brown, Christian McBride, and I wanted to be like them.
Yeah.
Then I got to New York. I started new school. I did pretty well. But for example, I got interested also in arranging and writing music too.
Right.
I took a few classes on film scoring and arranging, and I found out, oh, that's cool. I like to do that too.
Yeah.
Not only playing or touring, or so. So this thing came also as, so this was kind of a little bit struggle, not struggle, but always trying to do this and this, few things. And then it took me a while you know, to figure out what I actually want to do. And I figured for myself, I really like arranging and writing. And I definitely want to do more of that, move in that direction. And that was actually the first reason that I moved to LA from New York, because I thought I want to do more, film scoring and sessions and write for sessions. Um, yeah. So what was the question? Sorry.
Well, in what way do you feel like you've worked on artistic integrity?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So this came to me. So yeah, so for me, this integrity comes into what I know, what I'm looking for. Even here, what type of gigs I'm looking for, what I actually want to do. You
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. Right. And you stick to it.
Yes, yes, I try to. Yeah.
Yeah. What did you find when you moved to LA? Was it a little difficult to get involved in the community, or what did it happen pretty fast?
Uh, no, it took a while. Yeah, took few years, I think.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, for everyone probably.
Oh, yeah,
You know,
definitely.
I hear stories from people it takes them, 10 years or 8 years or 5 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just takes time to get to know people, and also to so people know you as well, and
Mm,
they start to call you for gigs or different types of work.
yeah.
Yes, so it took a few years, I think.
Yeah. Let's see. So you've played at Vibrato and Catalina's. What other rooms have you played like with your big band?
We played at Blue Whale, which
Hmm.
unfortunately closed,
Yeah,
but this was great venue. This
it
actually
was a
was,
great venue.
yeah, this was the first, I think, our first gig with the big band there.
Oh,
Yeah,
cool. Yeah, June is a special human.
yeah, yeah. June was great, and
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know if he's planning maybe to reopen this, or I don't know, but
I think
that was really great venue.
he's kind of open, maybe he might come
Mm,
back to LA and,
mm,
maybe do something, but he definitely needed to take some time
yeah.
and go back to Korea.
Mm,
So, yeah, he was my student actually.
mhm.
And um, he showed up having a real feeling for jazz, and he was pretty young. And after several years, yeah, he called me and he said, "Hey, Kath, I'm making a club," and I was like, "What?" Then I went to see it, and I was like, "Are what? How did this happen?" And he went to school originally for what's the word? Art. Oh God, the words out of my
Architecture.
mind. Architecture, yes, yes. And but he was always interested in jazz and singing, and he's a really good singer. Have you ever heard him sing?
Yeah, yeah, I heard him actually at Blue Whale. I think I heard him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. He was really good.
yeah.
Um, he made that record with Vardan.
Hmm.
It was wonderful. Um, yeah,
Yeah, and this
and
was very unique place. I mean, it has had its vibe.
yeah, definitely.
I really like.
Yeah, it was cool. Very cool. Yeah, you can't really build something. I mean, that happens for a number of reasons. I mean, it was who he was, and who he was connected with that kind of pulled in all the people that played there and hung out there.
Mhm.
Are you going to play at the write-off room?
I heard that they moved, right?
They
So,
moved. They're opening April 28th, I think. And
okay.
every Monday is big band night.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't know about it. Actually, also I heard about this from your conversation with Dave. But before that, I remember they used to be in Ventura, no, not Ventura,
Woodland Hills on Ventura
Woodland Hills. Yeah, yeah.
Boulevard. Yeah.
And I remember before the pandemic, I tried to get in contact with them to play, but something didn't work out back then. But yeah, maybe they'll.
I mean, every Monday,
Mm-hmm.
it's a lot of big bands playing.
Yeah,
Right? It's pretty
yeah,
cool, actually.
yeah. That's great. Yeah, because
Yeah,
we have a lot of big bands actually in LA,
yeah.
and I remember there was a place in Santa Monica Airport, Typhoon, right?
Yes, that was pretty cool.
This was the big bands kind of place
Yeah,
for big bands.
yep, that's right. That was a cool hang.
Yeah,
Yeah, the big band had space and the food was good.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The sound was pretty good, really. There was like a real sound person and yeah, that's too bad that place had to go away.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, let's see. Um, are you a teacher as well?
I teach some, some private students
Yeah,
sometimes, but it's not like my
your
focus.
main thing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to do, yeah, as I said before, I'm trying to focus on what I really want to do, which is at this point, it's more writing, composing, and but
Yeah.
also playing and playing. both, besides jazz, to do more classical work as well. Which,
There's only so much time in the day, right?
yeah, yeah.
I know. It's interesting the choices to make. I'm going to start soon. I'm going to start getting into more creative choices because I feel like I've been doing a lot of business and reaching out, and and your number 35, 6, 7, 538.
Wow.
So it's a lot of interviews I've done.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
after my next group of live people, I think I'm
Mhm.
going to put up archives and then focus on because I have a few CDs in the can that I have to just clean up and finish the vocals on,
Mhm.
um, and I have a little recording setup here that I can utilize, but I have to focus and get into it. Do you record at home?
I record sometimes, yeah,
Yeah,
for some remote sessions. So.
yeah. You know, it's something you have to learn, right? And I mean, once you're doing it, it's okay, but I gotta really get into doing it. Luckily, I have a friend who does it a lot, a singer. I
Mhm.
mean, I have a guitar player friend too, but I think a singer person would probably be better because the setup is, you know, it's just, I don't know, it just makes sense that a singer would get it from a singer, like what the sound qualities are and I mean, even something simple like how to push the button and then sing. Are you going to stand
Mhm.
up? You're going to sit
Yeah.
down? Where's the mic going to be? That kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah, it takes some learning a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
But once you get it, it's not like rocket science. So I'm sure you'll be fine.
What did you do during the pandemic?
So first months, it was, you know, I actually, I like the space for in the beginning of the
Yeah.
pandemic, in terms of, your own space that you don't, you're not distracted by doing, you know, running from gig to gig, but just doing some creative stuff
Yeah.
from artistic point of view. As bad as all the situation was,
Yeah.
but and actually for the first like 2 months, I did this project also actually related to the big band. I got this idea to record musicians remotely because everyone now got to record
Oh,
remotely.
is that the one with all the different
Yeah,
pictures?
yeah, this one that you,
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Well,
yeah,
tell us about it and then I'll go find it.
yeah. So I basically what I did, I wrote this piece to kind of uh, inspire,
Yeah.
people to give hope, this hope for
Uh-huh.
peace. It's called Revival. And so I found, 17 people from all around the world,
Oh,
reached out to them, and then everyone recorded their part remotely. I sent them, Pro Tools session, and they did whatever software they used. So everyone recorded this, and they taped the video of themselves, and they sent me back all the materials, and I put it together. So this is the piece that we did.
okay, cool. Okay.
Ah, yeah, it's called, yeah. You can actually go to, there is a live video. Yeah, this one.
This one, okay.
Yeah.
nice. That's great.
Thank
Oh, I love that.
you. Yeah, this was a little fun thing.
Nice. Who put, who put the video together?
I did it.
Wow, you
Yeah.
did a great job.
You asked me what did I do in the pandemic, so I learned I learned how to put videos together.
That was really good.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, very nice. Oh, look at that. That's cool, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah. Very nice. Yeah, I made a few, whoops, what did I just do? I made a few, sorry. I made a few music videos, but not like that. They were small groups from my record, and I actually used pictures. I didn't use video. I used pictures that were free pictures, and then I just put it together per the story, the lyrics and stuff. But it was fun. I enjoyed doing it a lot, actually. It was very similar to the feeling of being in the studio, making music.
So you recorded remotely too, right?
Well, actually, no, the recordings were let's see. I can't remember. I might have finished some during the pandemic. But they were just my regular CDs. And then I took those and I, went into iMovie and took pictures that represented the song subject,
Yeah.
But it was fun. I did about 4 or 5. I had a good time doing it.
Yeah, I'll check it out. Is it on your YouTube or somewhere?
Yeah. Makes Me Wanna Holler is one song, the old Marvin Gaye tune. Get Together, which it's an old song from the 70s. Da 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 ba da 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 da. Do you know that song? Yeah, it's from from my period of freedom in music. And then this really nice ballad that I shared with a singer from the East Coast named Paul Jost, and it was a ballad written by oh my God, well anyway, Billy Joel, but it was a ballad, really beautiful ballad, and so it goes, and Paul surprised me. I sent it to him, and he sent it back speaking his part, not singing. And it was perfect, actually, because it was very poignant, So I was singing on it, and he was speaking. So it was I enjoyed it a lot. Yeah, maybe I'll do it again sometime. First, I just have to finish my vocals for a few projects. Then I'll see about doing that,
Question of priorities.
Right. And delegation. I'm really into delegation now. So I can get back to my stuff. Let's see. Do you think that you've mentioned it several times, but do you think that presently that there's kind of a different perspective on playing music, the music business, for younger people coming up, especially? Or do you pay attention to that kind of stuff?
I do, although I haven't been in this business that long to actually compare how it was
Yeah.
before, but obviously I heard, I speak to many people and, heard from many people. Yeah. So, I mean, the technology obviously is the big, big change that now, like, everyone can record an album at their home.
Yeah, yeah,
And also the amount of music that just huge amount of music that exists.
yeah,
Um, um, yeah, it's so I assume it's very different from
yeah,
what it was, and also for performing musicians, who used to work on records or recording sessions, or even in film scoring business is the same. I see the same now. People try to save, producers save money on every projects, and
yeah,
um, not always, a lot of times people do just synthesize like mock-ups, or for example, if you're talking about the film scores, for example,
yeah, yeah.
not recording live and all that. So it's definitely, yeah, there is a change. Yeah, but I still think like it is, still possible to do, like, if you really know what you want to do, and you put hard work. I think it is possible to 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 make a living as a musician.
It's interesting. It's an interesting question because yeah, I sometimes I can't help myself. I just think that this is a moment in time that is um, it's almost make believe, you know, to me. It's like it's the realities that exist um, of not only making a living
Yeah,
in various ways, but also why we're doing it. You know, I mean, obviously we're doing it because we're artists and we have to do it. You know, we feel we feel that we have to do it. But besides that, you know, it's just it's there's no real answer. You know, there's not even three answers. You know, it's just that's why sometimes I just think it's all made up, you know. I don't even think that this is real sometimes, you know. It's just it just happens to be my point of view, you know. And I'm glad that I can do music and I'll never stop doing it. Um, and I know what it brings to me, and I see what it brings to other people. I see the value in it. And I think the pandemic actually brought that more into light. I really do, because people had to stop and there was a lot of music on and a lot of people doing it. And I actually was appreciative of that. But yeah, as far as, you know, present realities and reasons why we're doing this and, you know, how it's how it's worthwhile other than artistically. You
yeah.
know, it's interesting, isn't it?
uh yeah, but I think I actually came also to this realization, kind of recently, that, and it relates to what we were talking before, what you actually want to do when we're talking about, the music or integrity or self-integrity.
Yeah,
And so music, it does, when you actually do this, for real,
yeah,
it does help. I mean, I'm talking for myself, it does help in other aspects of life as well.
yeah,
You more like discover yourself through that, because music, it's not like easy. You have to practice. First of all, you have to practice all the time. It's like sport. And
yeah,
you have to develop all the time, and also in the present world of less, devaluating music, less opportunities to perform and to do music. You need to maybe learn more some other skills, but still be in music.
yeah.
And it is a lot of work and a lot of, like, self kind of discovery. What
It is, yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, for me personally, it does help you know, even practicing, when, just practice, it's like meditation. You, forget for this hour at least of whatever happens, all the problems, whatever happens in the world. You just, you practice on the bass, you practice long notes
Yeah.
or scales, just, slow
Yeah.
and concentrate on sound. And this really helps, I think.
I agree. As a matter of fact, I'll share this with you. During the pandemic, I wrote this little book.
Mm-hmm.
It's called The Act of Becoming. It's very
Okay.
small.
Nice.
And it's observations that I had collected, over a number of years teaching, and noticing that the same lesson existed in singing jazz, voice technique, and life.
Mm-hmm.
Now, those were only three areas that I felt like I knew, very well. But the same exact lesson,
Mm-hmm.
and it's always been fascinating to me since I started noticing it.
Mm-hmm.
And it applies to what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
We are so lucky to have music as as a teacher, you know. Um, Wow.
Yeah.
You can apply it to anything. I mean, driving a truck, anything, but music, the act of doing music and living life and finding out life lessons is really great.
Yeah. Yeah. Connecting to yourself as well.
Yeah, yeah. It's really nice.
So in this book, you like describe different like techniques or like that apply like from.
Well, in this
Mhm.
book, I it was more of an observation of like um an overall, I'd say overall observation, kind of sitting back and looking, you know, there's, it's small. So
Mhm.
it's like a philosophy of life,
Mhm.
then actual, more about vocal technique, but in a broad sense, not like too
Yeah.
picayune, and then about jazz and communication. And then I touched on religion
Mhm.
and my own principles and
Mhm.
thoughts, in life. And so it was kind of an overview of how those things related to each other.
Okay.
And yeah, it's interesting because after I wrote that, I realized that really I've only touched the very small surface of how many things that those lessons relate to, you know, because there's so many things you do in life. It's not just, live it, having a perspective of life and voice technique and singing jazz. There's a lot
Yeah.
more,
Yeah. Yeah.
marriage, driving, just everything. And you're really actually looking at your own point of view, right? It's like, oh, yeah, my point of view there is the same as my point of view there. And if I'm having a problem there, I could I could probably use that point
Mhm.
of view to figure out the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was kind of fun. And it was also good to finish that, because I'm very good at starting projects and continuing, but finishing I have some problems with.
Yeah. I
So it
think
was
that's a
really good to finish it.
problem for many people, including myself. Have so many ideas. Oh, okay, this looks great idea. Okay, let's do this and then.
Yeah. There's so many good projects. Yeah, the other day let's see, I don't know, a few weeks ago actually. So you know how you look around your house and you're always thinking, "Oh, I really need to clean that up," or that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I had this kind of moment where I was like, "Yeah, I don't really have to clean that up. I could leave that there for 3 more years." And it just cracked me up. It was like, "Oh, wow, I've had a moment of maturity or something." It's like big deal. Yeah, I don't have to throw everything away. I don't have to, I don't have to
Yeah.
constantly clean up or anything like that. I can just, yeah, I created everything and it's hanging around. Some things I haven't looked at it in 10 years or so what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I have some more Taylor questions. And thanks, Dan. My friend Dan, is posting your Eventbrite for
Hmm.
Catalina's. What we should listen again before we go too. Um, Speaking of finishing, Taylor said, out of all the charts you've written, which one was the most challenging to finish?
Oh, um, I don't know if I can point for specific one, but in general, yeah, Taylor is right. There is some charts they come more naturally,
Yeah.
and that just comes to you, and from the beginning to end,
Yeah.
and it's there, and it's for me, it happens very rarely, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But some other charts, you have great idea and you start writing it, and then it feels okay. That's like good, beginning. Now, what do I do next? And then you start to struggle, or you start to try different things, or okay. And then sometimes it's actually the other problem that you have few ideas that how to continue this or how to work on this, and you have to choose. Okay,
Yeah.
this looks good. This looks good too. So
Yeah. Yeah.
where you choose. So yeah, I definitely had some charts that I worked on. Like one chart I remember for big band, I finished in 2 days. It just I started this and it came just the
Just flowed
whole
out. Yeah.
yeah, just the whole idea, and in 2 days was full arranged chart.
I love that.
Yeah, the other ones, some of them, took, I don't know, longer. You also sometimes, same as you said, with your things, you have things around, so you have some charts, you start working on this, and then you don't know how to continue. Okay, so you leave it for a while, and then you come back to this maybe after a week, after a month, and then,
Yeah.
you know,
Last night, I told you we were listening to Tom Rizzo. He had a song that he had, there were a few ideas that were just hanging around separately.
mhm,
And he thought, yeah, why not put them all together? And the song was beautiful. I think it was called Fragments, actually. And it was really beautiful. His writing is really nice. It's kind of reminded me of Pat Metheny. Um, Open and very melodic and beautiful writing.
mhm.
Yeah, really nice. But I found that interesting because, I haven't sat down to write for a long time. I've done a little bit, but because my attention was wherever it was, just I felt like my creativity was going into different areas.
Yeah.
So, but I have so many starts of writing um, and I I'd like to go back to it and kind of dig out the old,
Yeah,
and maybe
actually, sometimes you can find something that from something old idea or something that you wrote before, like maybe years. And when I was going through some of my stuff that's sitting around here from my
yeah,
sketches or notes, and I don't even remember that it was, but I start playing this, and then I started, oh, okay, yeah, this was like 5 years ago or something. And
yeah.
it's a cool idea. And now actually I have different perspective on that, so I can maybe develop it now that which I couldn't do back then.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna try working on that. For me too, I mean, I'm not a great pianist. I play piano, but I'm not fabulous. And um so I really I think I mean, most of the things I start on piano turn out to be a little funky, you know. And because I'm not qualified enough to really develop harmonies from my playing.
Mhm,
However, if I start with the melody, that's
mhm.
different because my hearing is very harmonically developed. So that's kind of another interesting aspect for me for writing too. Um, but I think I read in a book the idea that creativity is art. I'm
Mhm.
sorry, curiosity is art, right? Curiosity, and so I love that idea. When you're curious, when you're an
Yeah,
artist and you're curious about something, it develops, right?
Yeah,
and
you try
brings you
out
in.
some things and see how it
Yeah,
develops. Yeah.
yeah. Um, let's see. Taylor has a few more interesting questions. Um, well, this is an interesting question. He said, um, I'm going to rephrase this question, Taylor, about habits and writing. He's asking, what kind of habits do you work on when it comes to writing? But I don't know if I'm not sure that I might say what kind of habits. Well, maybe he does mean like if you fall into certain things that you like, like you like to whatever bring in the trombones, you know, are there habits that you fall into that you like?
Um, Not that specifically for, in terms of instrumentation or technique, because, like there are different techniques,
Yeah, yeah,
arranging, orchestration. But in general, I think I try to do more melodic writing
uh-huh,
as well. When I do so, I try to, yeah, to start it off, like to work off the melody.
right.
And Yeah, and also I've been, recently I'm not a good piano player. I can play a little bit as for because we all use piano, obviously.
Yeah,
But I also started to go back more actually to piano a little bit, learning more piano and harmony actually on piano, because it also opens up, more opportunities, more possibilities for writing.
yeah,
Um, yeah, so I'm trying to do, you know, basically I would say, yeah, melodic writing, and learn more harmony to find cool harmony. Yeah, because it's like harmony, for example, it's such huge area just by itself,
yeah,
and or if you're talking about jazz harmony, then there's also like in that there is so many things and so many different voicings or different things that you can play together that would sound cool and
yeah.
just never ends.
Didn't Dave Slonaker mention a few books?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think he mentioned a few books by people whose approach to harmony he thought was valuable.
yeah.
It was
I think
probably an answer to Taylor's questions.
yeah, I think he mentioned Don Sebesky book, but
Oh, yes, I think
this
so.
this was maybe more on arranging.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but there's also for in harmony there's also different approaches. There is like kind of standard, vertical harmony.
yeah.
Then there is also like approach of more open like lines. For example, Bob Brookmeyer, he
Oh, yeah,
great trombone player and arranger, composer. He had
yeah,
a lot of big band writing. So I read some of his uh, you know writing or interviews or whatever he was talking, because his music also is very different. He's big band
yes,
from others.
yes,
And
yes,
he's actually was talking about you know harmony as something more linear harmony, when you play maybe several melodies together, and it creates the harmony when you play a few notes
uh-huh,
together, but not in a way of just not vertical thinking, going from chord to chord, from chord progression,
yeah,
but actually writing the melodies, and then find out different what it can create, what kind of
yeah,
the
yeah.
melody.
That's a very cool idea. I think that's kind of how Carla Bley writes, I want to say, because She she doesn't write in kind of standard harmonic gatherings,
Mhm.
when she's writing for a little, for a group. Um, I like her. I like her writing a lot and her
Yeah, yeah,
arrangement.
her music is also very like advanced.
Yeah, yeah, it's really nice. There's so many great people, huh? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned Kenny Wheeler. I met him once in the UK,
Hmm.
and he worked a lot with a singer friend of mine who I admire a lot named Nora. No, no, no,
Nora
Winston.
Win,
Yeah, no, uh,
Nora?
it's not Nora, is it?
No,
Nora. God, that is crazy. Can't remember her. Norma. Uh,
Norma, right?
I knew it was like, well, this
Yeah,
almost feels right.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
Anyway, she worked with him a lot actually,
Yeah.
and yeah, that was yeah. I was at some party where they were honoring this trumpet player for his birthday, a guy, Derek something, who had been in the business for years and years. So all
Hmm.
these musicians were there. And yeah, that was fun. I do
Yeah.
that.
As you mentioned this actually was one of inspirations. Like, I mean, I mentioned already about Kenny Wheeler when
Yes,
I discovered his music in some of my writings. So for like listening to his recording with Norma,
yes.
uh, actually this was one of the inspirations to write this type of music, this tune, so which actually we recorded on this album with Quintet, and Tierney Sutton was the like the guest,
Yeah.
guest performer on this. So this was like the tune that I kind of tried to do something in that vein.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool. Hold on one second. Let's see. I'm getting a phone call from my husband, and I don't want to answer it because I'm on the show. Okay. Let's see. But yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna go find that one. Vocalies, right? That's what
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
called.
Vocalist.
Yeah, Vocalies. Um, let's see. That was a beautiful song.
Thank you.
Yeah. I see you have some animation up too. Is that under um, your YouTube, or is it like a kind of a legal licensed thing?
It's on my YouTube, yeah.
Is it, I mean, because sometimes if I go to licensed something,
Mm.
they will take it down. But
Uh,
oh, it's okay to show this maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
Let's
Let's
try a
see
little.
if they shut us down or not.
Isn't that a beautiful little film?
Yeah.
Oh, the music was beautiful,
Thank you.
very effective.
Yeah,
Wow, lovely.
thank you.
um, oh, we really should play a little more of the big band. And my friend Dan posted you at Vibrato, which I don't think we saw before.
Okay.
So let's play a little bit more so people can see what they'll get when they go to Catalina's.
That's a long video, but you can just stop it at any time.
Oh, we'll just hear some of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this just a mix,
Yeah,
few.
yeah, yeah, yeah. These are like little clips of it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Cool. Well, it's gonna be a good night at Catalina's, that's for
Yeah.
sure. Um, well, we're coming to the end. It's almost 2 hours. Amazing, isn't it? Yeah. Alex Budman was in the band, Dan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
And he will be also on this coming Wednesday too.
I love his playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've used him a bunch. Yeah, he's good. And he's a funny guy. It's fun to have on the band, you
Yeah.
know. um, let's see. I'm sure there's so much more, but what do you know what a bucket list is?
Yeah.
So, do you have a bucket list?
Um, Not very specific, um, but um, I mean, I'd like to, yeah, just as I said, like from if we're talking, from music point of view, I try to focus more on writing now, you know, writing and some film scores, arranging, for live projects.
So, like basically continuing what you're doing and more of it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. No like specific goals,
Right, right.
but just to
Yeah.
enjoy life. That's my bucket list.
Well, thanks for spending 2 hours of your precious time. And I enjoyed speaking with you a lot and finding out what your perspectives are.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It was great.
Now I
Great
have
hours.
another new friend, and I hope to be able to get out next week. But again, so Igor's big band is playing at Catalina's on Wednesday, which is the 26th of
Mhm.
April, and it's going to be good. Seeing a big band in Catalina's is good. It's just feels good, sounds good,
Yeah.
so it's exciting. So have a great time. Good luck with that, and good luck with all your writing and stuff. And I hope to see you around. And I hope to work with you too, like
Yeah,
just as a bass player, right?
sure. Yeah, yeah. Let's play sometime.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, have a great day.
Okay, thank you, Cathy. It was great to be on
Thank
your podcast. What it's called.
you. And I'll let you sign off, and I'm going to tell people, what is happening on in the week here in LA if they want to
Okay,
come see it.
cool. Yeah, yeah.
All right. Thanks,
Thank you.
Igor.
Okay, thanks. Bye bye.
Bye. So that my guest that was Igor Kogan, and what's happening this week in you can just go to the yeah. So I am having a long day on Sunday. We'll see if my knee replacement knee is going to kind of support me that day. Sunday, I'm in the union, the Musician Union Jazz Festival with John Leftwich. John Leftwich and I have a band project called the No Net, the Eclectic No Net, and we're going to be finishing our record this year. And we've been getting a few different gigs, which is really nice. And so we have a 40-minute set at the Jazz Festival in the middle of it. I think the festival is from 12 to 5, so we're in the middle. And that's Sunday. It's free. It's over at the Musicians Union, which is really nice in Burbank. And then in the evening, Kulak's, I'm starting with Ellen Burr. I'm starting what's called a creative night. Ellen Burr is a really fantastic flutist who plays she reads, she plays different flutes, she's improvises, she's been a teacher, she's very talented. So she has led improvisational groups before. So we're starting this night once or twice a month at Kulak's on Sunday, different Sundays. And so we're calling vocalists, instrumentalists, poets, dancers, actors, everybody coming together and creating, improvising together. She's going to kind of lead it. So that's starting this Sunday, 8 to 10. So if you want to come out, that's going to be great. I'll tell you what's happening next week, too. And this week I have a few more archived people. Kei Akagi, the great pianist, Lorena Fontana, singer from Italy. Next week I'll have Alice Korn, Will Salmon, and Nathan Hubbard. Very interesting people, all of them. And then, we'll do some more archives. And next week on Thursday, the 27th, I will be performing at Kulak's with Dave Moscow on piano in the art of the duo. And Dave and I have to say, we have played as a duo many times and enjoyed it. We have a real good relationship with changing the Great American Songbook, and the fun of a duo is that if you're mature enough and you trust enough, then you can change on a dime. And so Dave and I are like that. So it's going to be really good. Dave Moscow is a fantastic pianist. And then Saturday at Kulak's is Antonia Bennett and Todd Hunter. So again, the art of the duo. Antonia is actually Tony Bennett's daughter. She's a really good singer, and she's a lovely person. Really cool. Very, old school jazz, as you could imagine, And although she's not very old, but, she just comes from that heritage. And Todd Hunter, of course, is a beautiful player. I akin him to Bill Evans. He's really a beautiful player and a nice person. So they're gonna do the art of the duo Saturday, April 29th. So we have a whole bunch of good stuff coming up in LA, and glad that you signed in. Thank you very much for being here. And I'm going to say goodbye to my Aussie friend Michelle Nicole today. I have to say, she's been a really good roommate. She's stayed at my house for about 10 days. Talk about cool. She's totally cool. Anyway, so I'm going to say goodbye to her today. She's going to go back to Australia and go back to work. But that's okay. We all need to work. All right, everybody. Goodbye. See you